Well, hello. My name is Ida Angel, and I'm a principal in a private school here in Båstad and preschools. And I work with children 1 to 12 years of age. And that's the most important work you can have, I think, because in these ages, the children create their life. In Sweden, most of the children comes to preschool when they are 1 years of age. And then they go to preschool and school for nearly 20, 25 years. So the environment, of course, it's getting inside the bodies for every child. So it has to be a good environment for a good development. Unfortunately, the environment in many preschools and schools are not good enough for teaching and learning. And we adults, we just look at it. And we who work in school, if it's a sound problem or a noise problem, we don't really know what to do. The air is controlled. The light, we can have more lamps. But when it's a noise, we just live with it because we know it's a lot cost if we scream about it. But we have to take that responsibility because it's really necessary for the child's learning. Children is different from us adults. They are much more sensitive, and when they are in the youngest ages, they have an absorbent mind. They just absorb everything that they are looking at, hearing, feeling. Everything just absorbs in their body and make their personality and character. We know that small children, 1 to 3 years of age, they listen to any sound in their environment, and they mimics and they I'm sorry. They listen and mix all the sounds they hear, and this is how they develop their language. So it's really important that the environment for the kids 1 to 3 years is the best. Science shows us that about one child in a group of 15-20 have a physical hearing disorder, but not many of them has a diagnosis. But so many children has this disorder. We have more and more children with special needs. And in our school we have a lot of them because they can't cope the traditional schools. So they come to us. And most of them can't select sounds. They listen as hard as at every sound. And it just takes their energy. And we have children with more than one language, and we have children that come to our school that can't Swedish. And they are just sitting there leaking energy to try to understand. And if you have to put so much energy on listening, you have less energy to understand, of course. And then you have even less energy to remember. So this will be affected their whole school time. And many children have bad results in school because of this. And the science says that if you see the children with a diagnosed hearing defect, there's just 15% who comes into the university. And that's not because the other one is not intelligent enough. It's because they didn't get the right possibilities. So you have a lot to do. The consequences of a bad environment is that the children has to put their energy on the wrong things. They have to put the energy to listen instead of learning and socialize with others. And of course they get tired, and often they feel misunderstood, and their self-esteem is lower. So it's defending all their life and their future. I have a group of children that can't concentrate. And if you have that, it's really easy to think that it's a too big group of children. Or maybe you say, some of these children here have special needs. so they stresses the rest. And then it's good for the teacher because you put the children as the answer for the situation in the class. And the truth is that it can be the sound or noise in the environment. And if you don't believe me, then I will show you, because this is what happened to me. For a few years ago, one of my preschools had to move, and we found a really good apartment, a big room that had been a municipal library. And we went there and we thought, this big room, it was light, it was hearing good, everything was good, we thought, because all the books was in the room. And it was in the summer, and we took the apartment, they took out the books, and we renovated. And then in August, we invited all the parents with the children. And I hope you see it's quite a nice picture, but I still feel bad when I see this one, because the sound was terrible. And it just went into your brain, and you're feeling sick immediately. And I try to be optimistic, so I try to calm the teachers. It's better tomorrow, because we just 20 kids then. But it wasn't. Even next day when I came there, there was 20 children and 4 adults, and it was like being kicked in your head when you came there because of the sound. You can see the ceiling, it's wooden boards, but between the wooden boards there were absorbing materials. So both me and the teachers and the municipal inspector thought that this was going to be okay, but it wasn't. It was so terrible that after just a week we had to put all the children outside, because we saw the children, they just change their behavior. Even if we have a lot of difficult children, we have a normalized group, because they can choose a lot by themselves, and they have really professional teachers knowing how to catch the children, coaching them to do the right thing, and inspire them to learn and work. But suddenly the children didn't want to go to the teachers. They ran off, and they started to run inside. They'd never do that otherwise. And they hired the voices, and they were irritated at each other. They kicked each other, and we just stood there. Just what happened? And it went so quick. So we understood that it has to be the sound. After a couple of days, I went there again, and I saw the teachers' behavior as different, because they were not professional any longer. Now they go, no, don't do that. And they were running after the kids. Oops. They were higher, the voices are higher, more stressed, and some of the kids even got scared of the teacher, because they were not used to see the teachers speaking like that. And this was just in 1 week. It was awful. But it was also obvious that these sound defects was the reason, and it went directly for their health. The staff were really nervous, and they told me that we can't cope with this. They were irritated at the children, irritated at me, at their colleagues, and at the family. They went to bed when they come home, or they were irritated on the family. So we decided to just be outside, eat outside, and go in when you have to go to the toilet. And it was okay, because it was August. And then I phoned Ecophone and said, help, we need something, because we didn't really know what to do. And we got help, and as you can see, the first thing we had a new ceiling, and that was like bringing in heaven. It was just going back to normal, but it wasn't really good enough, so we continued with wall absorbers. But you can see here the Swedish alphabet. We had those pictures on paper before, but now we have them as absorbers, and they are really good for the children. They talk about these every day, and when they want to draw something or write something, they go and look at the pictures. And we have pedagogic pictures with absorbers. It's have 10 pals, we have 1 to 100 boards, we have Swedish map, we have a world map and timelines. And it's integrated in the environment in a really good way, and the children loves them. And then well, it was back into normal again, and the children really want to learn, and we took more fabrics inside also, and we were, I think, at this moment we were quite shocked because it had not been so many days, but it had been a really change for us. And then when we analyzed this, we were happy that it was so bad because we took care of it in just a few weeks. What have happened if it just had have been half as bad? Then we had to discuss, and maybe we had said the cost is too much. And I'm sure that we had lost at least 4 or 5 of those kids. And maybe, scaring thought, we had sent them away to have a diagnosis. Because it's so easy to think that the problem is on the child. And when we got the environment, good sound environment, the children were normalized again. So it is worth the cost. It's one cost to make a ceiling, but it's the children's life, and it's the society's responsibility. So it's really important. I took my experience to our school also, and we started with outdoor lessons, and we built some classroom outside so they can be out even in the winter. And the first year we had this, we could see a good progress of reading from children 6 to 7 years of age. And in the national tests, we have since then really good results. And the teacher says that they can see in the answers that the children really remembers everything they have taught outside. So it's really good. And inside in the old house, we have an old bank house. We took in more fabrics, more shelves with materials. We changed the lights because the old one had a sound. We bought a projector, and we didn't take the most cheap because that had a bigger sound. So we have an experience, and we try to live like that. And now we are saving money to take out the ventilation, not because the air is so bad, it is like, normal, but there is a sound in 3 of the classrooms that shouldn't be there. But that is an expensive cost. It's about 1 million, but I think we do that next year because we know it's worth it. And then we have built 2 new classrooms last year, and we have extra doors in both of the classroom. So the children, next spring, there will be tables and chairs outside, so they can choose to go out to read and work there if they want. It's our responsibility. The children is worth it. And when you have seen how the noise or a bad sound environment affect the children, please take all this knowledge from these days and work so more children get good environment.